And of course, it was all happening in and around Parliament yesterday. And to discuss what transpired, we are now joined on the line by political analyst Audrey Matshiqi. Audrey, thanks so much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you.
So let's start with the swearing in, or the one that didn't happen, and that of the Deputy President David Mabuza. Now, many are pointing to the fact that this speaks to some of the discontent within the African National Congress. What's your take on this? What did you make of Deputy President David Mabuza asking for his swearing in to be postponed yesterday?
Well, I think, Sakina, this is a story of the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is good that the Integrity Commission of the ANC and the party itself are beginning to act against those of its members against whom serious allegations have and are being made. It is a story of the bad, because the decision that has been taken by Deputy President Mabuza is about calling the bluff of the party and calling the bluff of the Integrity Commission itself by posing the question tacitly about whether the ANC is going to be consistent, given the fact that there are some who were sworn in yesterday against whom allegations have and are being made. It is the story of the ugly, because if we look at what happened yesterday, it portends a serious and ferocious battle going forward between those who do not want DD Mabuza to become the deputy president of the country, and therefore, at some point later, a successor to Cyril Ramaphosa, and those who want him to be a successor. And you must remember that when he became deputy president, doing the rounds on WhatsApp was a collage of pictures which included a knife. And I think with what happened yesterday, those who support David Mabuza may argue that he has been stabbed in the back by the president.
But how so, Audrey? Because we are told that his stepping aside for the time being was done voluntarily.
Well, you need to go back to when former president Thabo Mbeki became president of the ANC. What he did not want, and what his supporters did not want, is Jacob Zuma as his deputy. Subsequently, Jacob Zuma himself did not want Cyril Ramaphosa to be his deputy, and time was spent by his supporters trying to prevent Ramaphosa from becoming Zuma's successor. And now Ramaphosa is in a similar position, because his supporters, and possibly he himself, did not want DD Mabuza to be the deputy. And the question is, how are they going to prevent him from becoming Ramaphosa's successor? So it seems to me what DD Mabuza did yesterday was based on his calculation that there is an attempt to prevent him from becoming Ramaphosa's successor, that is, the deputy president of the country, and in future, the president of the country. So I think he is sending the message to the president that if he is not going to be deputy president of the country, given the fact that he actually installed Ramaphosa as the president of the ANC in Nasrec, the ANC may become a very unstable political place. So I think he is deepening the crisis for the president and the ANC.
So, Audrey, just going back to the Integrity Committee and the fact that DD Mabuza has now decided that he's going to delay his swearing in as a member of Parliament in order to deal with the allegations against him. The Integrity Committee, of course, had cited 22 members on that list to Parliament from the ANC, including someone like Gwede Mantashe. So, with what DD Mabuza has done now, are they now compelled to, as the ANC, as the Integrity Committee, or whoever else needs to take charge of this, to ask others who have also been cited to actually step aside and deal with that?
Well, one of two things should happen. The Integrity Commission should encourage all of the 22 to step aside. Alternatively, which did not happen and has not happened, they themselves stepped aside. But what Didi Mabuza has done is to force the ANC to be consistent. And if it is not going to be consistent, that will lend credence to the perception that there is indeed an agenda, there is indeed a plot to prevent Didi Mabuza from becoming Ramaphosa's successor. So in other words, this saga is not about the deputy presidency. This saga is about the presidency of both the ANC and the country.
So just a final question. What does this then mean for President Cyril Ramaphosa, who will be expected to announce his cabinet shortly after being inaugurated on Saturday?
Well, there is a perception, and that includes my own perception, that the president is relying on tribunals inside and outside the ANC to deal with those who are deemed to be problematic, to deal with those who are deemed to be his opponents. The problem is that in the absence of an effective political strategy, the president might find himself facing a rebellion. Whether the rebellion succeeds or not is another question altogether. But if it does succeed, the ANC will become an unstable place. So going forward, given the fact that this is an opportunity, or maybe seen as an opportunity, for the president to stabilize the ANC by amputating those parts of the ANC that are deemed to be cancerous. If he has miscalculated, or he seems to have miscalculated the balance of support and the balance of forces in the party, as I said, he might find himself facing a rebellion. The problem, though, is whether the ANC can be consistent, because there are many who are sitting in that parliament, who will be sitting in that parliament, who have brought the party into disrepute. In fact, I may argue that the leadership collective of the ANC on several occasions over the past decade has brought the ANC into disrepute, which means the moral high ground in the ANC remains a vacant plot.
Well, Gogo Audrey Matshiqi, thanks so much for your analysis on the situation that transpired in Parliament yesterday, and of course what that means going forward for the President, for the African National Congress, and how it's likely to impact on how the cabinet ultimately turns out. Well, we continue